We're back, ladies and gentlemen, and bringing you another fantastic matchup. I am Penguin, this is Trouble Link, and we are going to bring up another German versus French matchup, but this time it is Schalke versus LDLC.
Yeah, and there's a lot of questions regarding both of these two regions because I feel like the LFL coming in as the defending champions, there's a lot of questions raising as in, well, the LFL isn't doing that peachy yet.
That's true. The LFL obviously coming in, LDLC specifically, coming in as reigning champions, very much high expectations on them, obviously having such a veteran name like YellOwStaR on their side as well. But both these sides, like you just said, not being the powerhouses that we kind of wanted.
A little underwhelming?
A little underwhelming. And I don't think that's very, I think that's a very fair statement to do because we think about the DACH region for specifically, Schalke, or more specifically the DACH region, they come in with one good team every year. And then after that, everyone just kind of falls to the wayside. And that's just historically how it looks for the DACH region. But this year, I want it to be different. I want them to come in on this and really show that they are one of the top teams in Europe that aren't in the LEC.
Here's the deal, right? Schalke came into the previous split, the spring split, and they inserted themselves in the conversation of, wow, this iteration of Schalke is looking so strong. Then they don't make it out of groups. And that was a big hit for them.
They did go 4-2. Let's give them credit, but it
sure,
was. I agree with you. I agree with you. They still did. I don't have to agree with you. You're stating a fact. They did not make it out of groups, and from there, like even looking at the Prime League summer, they lost 0-3 to Mouse Sports. Like, this doesn't bode well as a competitive region, as someone that's going to be going 2, maybe even 3 seeds into the quarterfinals. I want to see them do more.
And so far, out of the 3 teams we have seen again, it's Mouse Sports pulling ahead. It's Mouse Sports sort of pulling the rabbit out of the hat, and making sure that DACH region has a very strong seed. But here, Schalke need to make a statement. They need to defeat the returning champions and make a statement for the DACH region that they don't just have one team representing them every single EU Masters.
Yeah, and for the LFL, obviously, as well. A lot of pride coming from them. Very passionate fans, of course, we all know. If you've ever been to a Paris event, it's very fun. But it's also a bit lacking from them right now as a region. You're looking at the LFL, and specific from LDLC, they lost yesterday to the Samsung Morning Stars, and that's a massive blow to you trying to get top 2. So I want, again, like we said, another team, another region I want to see more from.
So the thing with LDLC is when sort of weaker teams on paper beat a former champion or a really strong team, you would rather it be in a stomp than picking out something that's a little bit cheesy, like a surprise pick, and you're like, oh, we didn't account that, and then we lost to that, but that was good for them. It was Morningstar slowly but surely choking them out of their own game, and LDLC just didn't look willing to want to make the plays, to want to come back to the game. They just didn't look like themselves, and I just really want to see YellOwStaR with his veteran voice pulling back the reins on this LDLC and be like, listen, guys, we lost 1. We have 2 more to go. We need to prove that we're still the returning champions here. Does this dog go the side of Schalke? We're talking about the potential former champion staying out of the next stage.
Yeah, and not unheard of in the EU Masters, of course. History does mean you have to keep your talent. Unfortunately, when you do very well, they tend to get robbed very quickly. But that's why they're here. The EU Masters, specifically summer, this is the moment for you to step up and stand out. And for Schalke, I kind of look towards, like people like Innaxe, people who have been on the LEC stage to really push that boundary and say, look, I am good enough for this and I can make this team the best that's ever been.
I'm going to take it one step further from Innaxe because we're talking about, ADC favorite sort of splits this season at least. And it's been all about mid-jungle synergy. Everyone's been lying to you. It's all about the mid and jungle. And Sertuss and Lurox seems like they're completing each other. Every time Lurox will pick a more tanky jungler, one that kind of requires priority in the mid lane, Sertuss does have that in his pool to provide it. The Zoes, the Azirs, the Corkis, to give some room to Lurox. And then when Lurox wants to be the playmaker, then you've got an Akali, a LeBlanc for Sertuss in the mid lane, and a Kha'Zix next to it for Lurox to sort of complete the composition.
Well, looking at the
Talking
first...
about the LeBlanc.
Yeah, I was going to say. But looking at these bans coming in right now, a lot of AD carry, we talked about that as well. You limit that pool, and all of a sudden, it's very, very difficult for you to go. This is actually putting LDLC into a very, very difficult situation because right now, there are 4 AD carry bans. That means there's very few left in that pot. You've got maybe a Felios, Jhin, Ezreal maybe, but you kind of need him with the Yuumi. You can still work with other things, but you would prefer to have it with the Yuumi, which means that Schalke, they got to make sure that this priority pick is perfect.
Honestly, I think what the thinking here is like, do we ban Hecarim? Do we ban something that's really strong and allow something to go through? But a lot of times when you're on the red side, you allow way too many power picks through, and then you're sort of challenging the blue side pick. Like, pick one, we'll grab the other two.
Which one of your children do you love more?
Which one of the three?
That's it.
I'd like to see the Ezreal honestly locked in here for Schalke.
I see that, and I also see that the fact that if you go with the Ezreal here, you can then just go with a Hecarim Orianna on the other side, the red side. Like you said, you leave those power picks open, you can go for something, but they're going to prioritize the Shen. They're looking for that top side.
And everyone's been lying to you again on the Shen. He's not a tank. He's an assassin.
No,
he's kind of like friends.
He is a ninja.
He's kind of like friends with Ornn, where you're thinking that your ADC and your mid lane is doing more damage, but then I saw Huni's sort of damage graph, and he was like out damaging both his carries when his carries had more items. This is sort of the situation here. Also, a big flex pick. He can go over to the bot lane.
Yep.
We saw Bravado played with a lot of success on it, so it could be something that Nukes sort of resorts to.
Yeah, and as I said, LDLC going to pick up that Hecarim. Whether or not they pick up the Orianna is a different story, but getting that super powerful jungler, really good engage, very fast clear, good for what the meta is right now, dragon fights.
In my face. Do you want the unpopular opinion?
It's the Zoe.
Do you want the unpopular opinion?
Go on.
I do not like Hecarim.
Why?
It feels like specifically in the EU Masters, I don't like Hecarim.
He's a rainbow pony.
Because we've...
How can you not like a rainbow
playing
pony?
with skins,
Penguin. He is a
penguin.
rainbow pony, goddammit.
Skins don't matter, guys. FLICKR showed that to us. Basically, why I don't like Hecarim specifically in EU Masters is because teams have played so well against it. They're choking the Hecarim out very early. You see very late level 1 invades that take his jungle out. I wouldn't be surprised if I saw a Nidalee coming out of Lurox here to try and invade, trying to find the Hecarim, get him out of his jungle, and sort of challenge him and take his camps.
Well, that would have happened had they not been given up 2 free bans here as well. So, and we talked about this off stage. We were talking about the different priorities and stuff like that. When you go for that Hecarim, you do look for that priority in mid lane. Zoe is exactly what you need there. Get constant push. Make sure that the Hecarim is safe to push that over there. The Akali into the Zoe, not something I'm super favored into, but the Yuumi banned away. I like that. Keeping Nukes and Innaxe on something that isn't as crazy mobile as that Catboy combo.
And honestly, Ezreal is mobile enough by himself. I feel like the pick was there for Innaxe just so they can make sure they can leave him alone down the bot lane, and you see Nukes roam around. Sertuss plays a lot of that Akali. It's really cool to have a very roaming support, something like a Bad, a Thresh that can back you up, create plays for you, engage for you, and then you go and sort of kill the Zoe. Zoe might be playing from a lot of distance, but it's extremely squishy if she's going to go.
If she gets caught. That's a big if, of course, from these two teams. And you look at Vétheo.
I mean, I don't know, man. We talked about the Senna in the previous game. We're like, if she gets caught,
she can't get caught.
There's no way.
Didn't want to go back on that one. Poor EBL. But Bard banned away as well, looking to try and stop that very strong bot side, looking to maybe force them into a more passive laning phase.
Talking about passive laning phase, the Bard wouldn't create one of them, but we talked about that being a roaming support, something that Nukes could resort to playing, and that gets banned out. Also, another 2 playmaking supports get banned out, and instantly LDLC will grab the Thresh, keeps a lot of your carry safe in case Schalke managed to reach them.
Yeah, absolutely. The Lantern incredibly versatile. You've got a lot of very good inert CC on top of the Thresh. You got a lot of good engage with that as well to kind of follow up with the. If the Rainbow Pony goes too far, you can just
Really think he's gonna play on that skin?
You know what? Yes, I think he'll play Rainbow Pony.
Okay.
I think I'm gonna lock it in right now and say Rainbow Pony.
Fair enough.
Locked. But the Sett means that you can take that pony and immediately put him in the stable because he's going to be in and out with the 2 ultimates swapped.
I think that's most likely going to be a Lurox pick. The Sett coming in right here. It's a great pick together with the Akali. They're both brawlers. They're both going to run in and try to come at you. And I think this pretty much sort of seals the deal. The Shen is going to be bot lane as the Leona gets locked in. They're looking to make plays on you. They have the Leona roaming in the mid lane, trying to shut down that Zoe. There's always in my illegal list.
Your legal list?
Yeah.
What's your legal list?
Well, basically, my legal list is a list with a lot of champions that are absolutely broken and should not exist. It feels like...
like actually illegal.
They're actually illegal, and Zoe is one of them. Ooh.
Does Lillia fall under the illegal list? So that's been picked up, and that gives you a Hecarim top or a Lillia top. I actually think it's a Lillia top. I just realized we got the 2 ponies.
I was about to say.
Oh my god.
Got a stable over at LDLC.
LDLC. They got the horsepower to win this game. It's going to be great. All right. We'll have to wait, obviously, until the 20-second mark. That is the last moment they can swap this out. But
I don't think they're swapping this out.
I think the Lillia.
Oh, they are.
Don't.
I had to say it. I had to say it.
You had to play. You had to play devil's advocate.
Fine.
You had to play it. But they swap it back over. Now we see the Hecarim going to the jungle. Far more better for him to be able to farm up very quickly. The Lillia actually does incredibly well into the Shen, just able to push him down. And with the extra movement speed you get with the items you can build,
You never catch her.
You never catch her, and you can roam so quickly, like we were talking about.
And that is a great thing because you have the global from the Shen and you want to be able to follow through wherever he goes or make a quick play potentially into the mid lane with your Zoe. So I do like the versatility right there. I do like the movement all over the map. You know, the Lillia and the Hecarim that can be from one side of the map to the other in literally 0 time.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we are on to the Rift for Schalke Evolution versus LDLC Olympiacos. This is a very, very interesting track. Finally get to see the Akali get through pick and ban, something that's been pretty much globally banned every single region. We'll wait to see how it all works out for them. But looking at the two compositions now, Trouble, I want to pick your brain. Where do you see these two teams looking to kind of make their advantages known?
So I'd like to think that when the Akali hits that gunblade spike, they're definitely gonna look to fight. Sett is pretty much really strong at brawling at any stage of the game due to his shield, due to the true damage that he does off the get-go. So I'm looking at the Lurox Sertuss, sort of that we talked about. They're completing each other. It's the AD with the assassin AP in the mid lane. They're gonna look to make plays onto Vétheo. And on the other side, TynX wants to chill in his jungle. He wants to farm, get these items, and then run you down.
Literally run you down.
Literally
Run you down. But we'll see how it goes for both sides of these teams. And for Schalke Evolution and for LDLC, LDLC was always seen as that kind of should have been a sister team, should have been LPL. Like, they've been around for so damn long, finally got themselves an EU Masters title as well. But they need a win here. They need to show that they haven't lost it. YellOwStaR, of course, coming back after hiatus. Of course, he went off to coach, went on the TSM, that we won't talk about that. And then he came back, obviously, to play for LDLC. He's showing that he still has it.
He does, and here he also gets the chance to be a playmaker. He's playing the Thresh. He could potentially be engaging the fights.
Overall, shouldn't expect too much from this bot lane unless something goes terribly wrong for someone. More about the jungler influence, like you talked about, seeing the pony coming in, and of course Sett looking to brawl everyone and anyone he possibly can. And right now...
Double ignite, anyone?
That I stopped because it triggered me. I literally
You see what's illegal now?
I literally, I know, don't get me wrong, I agree with you. But it was more just I saw it and just immediately went, oh, that's
I don't even want to talk about that.
That feels bad, man, right there. It's worse when she gets redemption. When she gets a redemption
and she walks like down the river and she's like, oh, my bot lane's chunked down their tower, I'll just heal them all up.
Yeah, or even just pushes the wave. She's able to get so much pressure with so many things. It's absolutely insane. But looking forward into this game, of course, Schalke Evolution. Schalke, relatively new to the EU Masters scene. They only came into 2020 spring. Like we talked about, didn't do incredibly well. This
Came
is
as
like,
the first seed, though.
Yeah.
Here they come in as a second seed. You know, the pressure is not as much,
oh my God, sorry.
but not...
I mention it and cast a curse.
It's a redemption tilt, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know. But like you said, they didn't do badly in spring, but did do
I actually think they did badly in spring.
Really?
Coming in as the first seed, not getting out of groups, was a big hit for them. And now they do have a chance for redemption because they don't have pressure on their shoulders. They're coming in as the second pick. Technically, Mao should do much better.
We'll see what they can go for. A bit of a skirmish here. Both sides taking significant damage. There's the redemption we talked about. And they heal up quite a bit, but Lurox was around, as was TynX. So both junglers just hovering, knowing that something potentially could happen here. However, TynX has just backed away quite a bit.
Look at TynX right now. He's gonna go make the way through the mid lane. He took the bot Scuttle Crab, and because he saw Lurox on a ward in that Tri-burst, he's running straight for that top lane River Scuttle Crab. So much more experience and gold onto that pony. That's exactly what the vet prescribed for that pony.
He also went Elderwood, and he didn't go Rainbow Pony, so I'm very upset.
Oh, come on.
I know. It's just green.
Unlucky.
Unlucky.
Wait, did we actually bet on that?
We had no
Do I
we had no forfeit. It was just like a bet. Yeah, see? You gotta make a forfeit.
Should have said like €5 or something for the skin.
We can't do that. Are you crazy? I can't afford that. You're nuts. But as you said, getting the double scuttles, now able to get his entire bots, or top side, excuse me, with those Krugs and the Raptor camp. Get those chickens nice and early. Some fried chicken for the pony.
Lurox is already behind. You see that he has cleared his entire jungle. The Hecarim is ahead full CS, and he has yet another camp and one that just spawned. All he has to do is just chill in his jungle. Already got the Phage up. He's waiting for that Trinity Force. We're looking for that power spike.
And this is very, very important when you come into jungle kind of paths and jungle patterns and stuff like that. Your path might be cool. I do all my bot side, then I do my top side, get the top side scuttle, trade scuttles, I go back, I reset, boom, boom, boom. You could see there that Lurox was kind of just sitting at his Raptors, waiting for about 15 seconds, waiting, because it puts you off for a few seconds. And now the side of LDLC have that very, very slight tempo advantage, and also an item advantage. You're looking at Hunter's Talisman and a Hunter's Machete versus a Phage on the Hecarim. So, but doesn't mean that the Lurox is not going to be, I think he's on the Lurox, like the movie, but it's going to start that Ocean Drake. But
I don't know that movie, actually.
I've never seen it.
No.
Dr. Seuss. Very good movie, but LDLC are wise to these tricks. Dragging down to about 1,500. Do they want to go for this? No level 6, though, just yet. And the Akali got the roam into them from the mid, which means they can't really fight this. As I say that, though, Nukes goes in. They miss that point-blank hook. There's Bando, though, coming in on the Lillia. First blood to the Hecarim, and everyone backs out from the backside of that pit. And they will only lose one, but they'll gain themselves a dragon.
That's worth it. You have the composition that wants to start brawling on one item. You want to start stacking the dragons, try to force LDLC into this fight. And LDLC had absolutely no reason fighting there. The Akali had already pushed the lane. She was roaming down. She was level 6. She wanted to fight at that point, while Vétheo was just backing into his lane. And we have to mention here, that's actually not a Zoe with a spellbook.
No, it's a Summoner
wants
Airy.
to play punches. He went Ignite.
Yeah, went for Ignite, went with the Summoner Airy as well, looking to really punish in this lane. Lurox is still in the spot side. Not quite level 6 just yet, but the wave pushing into Schalke Evolution, which means they might be able to catch out a Senna or Thresh. Trying to bait him in. You can see Innaxe using that experience to his advantage. We talked about that. You Arcane shift in, people might think, oh crap, he has no escape. Not quite the same, though. They're wise to their tricks. Spidey sentences are tingling.
Yeah, that's because TynX was all the way to the top side. He took yet another Scuttle Crab. He finds that the jungle is empty, so they're like, guys, most likely the Sett is towards that bot side. They have to actually respect that. They went back. They also picked up the T, that upgrade towards that Mana Moon. And TynX is completely ahead in this matchup. Level 6, you'll see that he also gets the, I call it a mango. I'm not sure what it is. Like, it's like a honey fruit.
Honey fruit.
I call it mango for some reason. I don't know.
I like the honey fruit. I've never had it, but I think
I've never had a mango.
What?
Yeah.
You've never had a mango?
Am I missing
How?
out? Am I missing out?
Yes, mango is the greatest fruit in the world. It has several songs of it on YouTube that are just like about mangoes. I'm actually so shocked. How have you got,
I'm actually shocked you're listening to songs about mangoes.
Because they're great.
All right.
Getting you a mango. All right, we'll get you a mango.
Right after this.
Right after this. Make it sound like we're going to a break. But speaking of breaks, looks like TynX going to break down this Rift Herald.
I was about to say, he takes no breaks.
Takes no breaks. We went both ways. There is a ward on him, but with pressure in the mid lane and pressure in top, you can see on the mini-map the Sett, the Akali, trying to roam down towards this bot side. Let's see if they can catch anything, but very hard to do that against a Thresh and the Senna. Even when, actually, I'd say that, they're not even on the bot side, it's a Lillia.
They're going in.
They go for a flash. There's the Shen ultimate as well. They kind of bump on top of this, and that is the Lily going down, not able to find anything else. That's 4 people bot side, which means they're able to respond on top, and they've got Shelly.
Bando, though, needed to respect that. He knew that the majority of his team was at the top of the map, so you need to back off, because Schalke knows that too, and they want to make a play towards that bot side. Nevertheless, you lose a top laner. It's fine. That top laner is ahead in CS. He will be okay. Doesn't lose his flash either. And on the top side, you're cashing in on so much gold for your Hecarim and your Senna. That is insane. Accelerating both the carries towards that mid game. It's going to be a PT road for TynX onto that Hecarim. Could we potentially see the gold? I want to know how close he is to that Trinity Force.
Very, very close. Very
Yeah.
close. Thank you so much, observers, for highlighting that. And you can see with that kill, with the Rift Herald, and of course, with all that juicy farm, he has got himself up very, very nicely. He's going to probably stay out a little bit longer, just try and take up as much gold as he possibly can, get as close to that Trinity Force, and get that big, big spike. And
he's going to stay. He's going to stay onto the Rift until he has the Trinity Force. He's going to farm his whole jungle to make sure that when he's back for it, because in 1 minute there's a dragon that spawns, he's most likely going to have that.
And it's a 2,000 gold lead. This is a 2,000 gold lead for LDLC pre-10 minutes.
It's the Hecarim.
And it's the Hecarim just power farming through this. And you talked about the jungle mid synergy as well. And there's the Triforce you talked about, but the jungle mid synergy, we talked about how important it was for Schalke. We haven't really quite seen it yet. It hasn't really been given an opportunity to create a play for this team.
I think it's because Lurox has been behind the play the whole time. He's trying to protect his teams because of the priority that every single lane from LDLC has. He doesn't want them to get dived, so he's trying to protect instead of farming for himself, getting that Akali ahead. You know that Sertuss is going to fall behind. It's an Akali, she's melee. This is one of the most hard-pushing champions in the entire game, Zoe, so you can't really force match there.
Can't force much, but they're going to have to force something. Has got his finished jungle item just as the Trinity Force was finished up for the Hecarim, so that's a big, big item spike. You can see the Manamune and the Cole being stacked in bot side for the Senna, and maybe they go for a dive here. They've got themselves the mid laner. Lillia's here as well. This would be a 4v4, but they're not able to quite pick her up, and everyone just backs away. But Cloud Dragon just spawned. No way in hell the side of Schalke Evolution can really contest this one here. They're just going to leave that one there. One dragon apiece once this is done.
You're not going anywhere near a Trinity Force Hecarim at this point. No one has the items or the HP to withstand a big engage from Hecarim. So they're going to back off. They need a few more items underneath their kits. I would be expecting to see the Gauntlet here coming in from Innaxe onto the Ezreal to try and stay away a little bit, get that armor, get these resistances on you. And for Sertuss, you see that he's locked in the Mercury's first. He wants to stay alive in his lane to try and reach that Gunblade point where we said maybe this is where they're going to look to fight, not if he's dead.
Not if he's dead. And you can see going into that Shroud.
Oh, he hit it.
Does use the ultimate to try and back out of it. Flashes as well. Nice use there of both the escapes for the Akali, and they get themselves out nice and safely. But pressure still mounting for Schalke. Really not kind of finding anything for them there. And LDLC, similar to how they were taken out by Samsung Morningstar, they're just slowly choking them out, getting resources, pushing them behind their tower, forcing them away. You see a big chunk of damage there onto the Akali. Half health after one Paddle Star.
And you see, talking about Paddle Star, YellOwStaR has been around that mid lane the entire time. They're protecting the Zoe when she's trying to push that wave in because they can roam together with the Zoe and deprive Lurox off of farm even more.
Speaking of roaming with the Zoe, Onslaught of Shadows just come in. They're going to try and get as much as they can. Not able to do it. There's a Lantern. And they will just take themselves a blue buff as their prize. But there's nothing for Schalke to take. They're not gaining anything for the amount of people they're investing, or LDLC are investing, up in that top side. So it's kind of a low risk, you know, kind of high reward play for LDLC. They lose nothing.
They got everyone sleeping, including sleeping. No one was pushing any other lane. Now Akali's sleeping.
Now she's sleeping. Great play there from the side of YellOwStaR to keep Nukes away, but a true shot barrage across the team, and there's the Sett. Uses the Haymaker, and 1-2 Uniflu. It's 2-1 in kills.
That's the engage we're waiting for. Once Schalke gets the engage on you, everyone gets jumped on. Ezreal wasn't even there, and they won the fight. It was just a true shot barrage. LDLC have a composition that wants to play from range. Once you've been poked down, once you're really low, that's where TynX goes in to finish in the job. But when you get engaged upon, when no poke has landed, this is where Schalke has the upper hand. Only 1,000 gold the difference right now.
Yeah, and it was the side of LDLC that kind of it started that engage as well. Thought they could get the sleep down onto the Akali in the mid lane, and we can see it just here. They feel like they have it, but everyone from the side of Schalke just collapses so quickly.
So So I felt like Nukes played it so well right here because the sleep falls onto Sertuss, and then the Leona goes in front of the Thresh to try and block that hook from landing, because he could have possibly been Sertuss's death, or they wouldn't be able to get that engage and that fight. So I believe that Nukes on that Leona was basically that engage that they were looking for. He played it flawlessly, protect his carries, made the engage happen, made the kill happen.
Still 2,000 gold. That is going pretty much nowhere here. It's a nice little lead, but the longer this game goes, the less and less that actually means. And you can see TynX needs to stay ahead of the Sett, who picked himself up 2 very nice kills, which pretty much equals out in terms of gold of how he was missing out in the jungle, just a little bit behind on that XP mark. And I think this next dragon in a minute 30 could be a bit of a catalyst for how both these sides want to try and fight.
I'm not sure if Sertuss is anywhere near his Gunblade, because that would be a huge power spike for him to fight in 1 minute at that dragon. You see that they can't necessarily contest anything else until very key items have been completed. We're looking at a 2-item Ezreal, which is the item breakpoint. We're looking at a Gunblade Akali, and the Shen, well, he's got a bunch of components that will keep him relevant and tanky to get that tone down and not die.
Bot side being pushed in. Innaxe takes probably 1 or 2 more things that he needed here as they try to push in the turret. Going to see the box go down as well as the solar flare. Nukes trying to back himself away. Will just about survive, but TP coming in off the backside. Dawning Shadow not able to hit though either, as Lurox is a little bit in no man's lands. There's Sertuss trying to keep away. Another teleport comes in. They still have the onslaught of Shadow from TynX. Everyone backs away. Nothing was really burned. They still have a tower to defend.
How does Nuke survive that? He was on 1 HP. He had all that poke coming in from left, right, and center. Oh my god.
Gotta be so careful. This is the power when you have the poke with the Senna, with the Lillia, with the Zoe, and you can just keep pushing them under the tower. They're just trying to force them away. You can see there's the Rift Herald going down. This will give them a little bit of a buffer to try and force this one out. Sleeping, just keeping everyone safe. It will be a tower for tower trade. No one goes down, nobody dies. Schalke getting themselves out just about.
But they lost so much time. They should have left that tower fall. Go back, reset. You see the Gunblade, you needed that. If you reset quicker, you could have gone towards that Drake and tried to contest that, but now you can't. And LDLC slowly but surely are starting to stack them up.
Got themselves 2. We'll need another 2 more of these Infernal Drakes.
What's it gonna be? It's an Infernal. I'm not looking at all.
I was like, it's been decided.
We're already been decided.
We're already coming up to the 4th Drake. Like, I don't know if I should really tell you that, but looking now, it's kind of evened out a bit. That 2,000 gold lead doesn't seem that big anymore. You're nearly looking at a dead man's plate for Lurox on the Sett, which is pretty much going to, not counteract, but definitely make him just as powerful or potent as a Triforce Hecarim. Hecarim now finally moving towards a Cinder Hulk on top of his jungle item. Where do you move now for Schalke? You've stemmed the bleeding, you've stopped yourself from just getting absolutely snowballed away. What do you want to do? What do you want to see them do to come back into this much stronger?
Now you need to use Sertuss. You've got the Gunblade, you need to start the fight. The next objective that's coming up, it's going to be the second result on the top side. Lurox, though, looking for an opening. He's not going to find it.
Not going to find it. They're not going to be able to get any damage over either from the Lillia. So no sleepy time as double sleep. Didn't even notice that. But double sleep not available on the bot side as Innaxe and Nukes coming up towards the top side. Senna has got the Edge of Night picked up along with the Mana Meter stacking up. So the Senna building towards that kind of, I'm just going to survive a pick rather than actually do a crap ton of damage for his team.
Talking about the Rift Herald before, this is the point of contention for both teams, because LDLC has had their eyes on objectives the entire game. It's objective after objective. When you have the stronger jungler, you are allowed to do that. And of course, all this priority in the mid lane. Lurox is trying to find openings around that mid lane. They're trying to find Vétheo on that Zoe, but they just can't. You need to utilize the Akali right now, where everyone is squishy, when no one has itemized any magic resist against the ring.
Finding that opportunity, and LDLC are not giving Schalke Evolution it. There's the True Shot Barrage to try and thin out the wave. Won't hit the Trouble Bubble onto anyone priority, or to be a priority, and the hook does go away as well, so they successfully defend.
There's so much sleeping in this game. There's Lillia, there's Zoe, there's literally Schalke's top laner.
There's the game.
No, come on.
I kid. I'm not. I think it's fantastic. And
Actually, you say that. The LFL has the longest average game time out of every ERL. 34 minutes.
I believe that. I believe that thoroughly, given how this early game has gone. And again, there's a lot of hate towards, you know,
Slow and steady
games.
wins the race.
Slow and steady does win the race. You look at, you know, Rogue who got towards the start of the season in LEC, and they were seen as a slower team, but it was methodical. It was picking apart your opponent, not giving your opponent an opportunity to snowball against you. And looking at some of the way, you know, kind of like you're looking at LDLC, you've got the Leandry Torment now onto the Lillia. You've got yourself so much more kind of items that can now teamfight. The Redemption finished up, the Mana Mune now turned into a Muramana, and the Edge of Night for the Senna alongside that Serrated Dirk. She will be able to start actually taking health bars now. That's where I'm starting to feel a bit scary now if I'm from the side of Schalke Evolution.
The problem here with this Senna composition is that it's not a front to back. She's not the main carry here because she doesn't necessarily have the front line that creates space for her to shine. She's gonna be the one that gets engaged on. As you can see, TynX trying to find an opening right there, but...
They're gonna go for it in this mid lane, and so you can see the Stand United and the Facebreaker going straight, not the Facebreaker, the Haymaker. Bando flashes, but only to his doom as everybody focused on him. And that's a quick kill for a tower in favor of LDLC, but can they get themselves another move? There's the Drowsy, trying to see if they can just keep them split off the onslaught of shadows, and Nukes is deleted. There is the Dawning Shadow as well, and you can see LDLC just pulling this one back. Like you said, and not a traditional front-to-back team fight, but once you're caught, you're dead.
If you're trying to actually kite back from a poke composition like this with a Senna, you're most likely dead. You gotta get in there, you gotta get a couple of kills and then pull out if you're Schalke, but they unfortunately push too much. They get caught underneath the tower, and Lurox again, he creates a situation for Schalke that wasn't there. They're trying to catch Vétheo, they actually do. The Shen ultimate was a bit unfortunate because Sertuss gets drowsy there and the Shen cannot actually reach and engage, or they would have had 2 kills. And Schalke, they put their hand too far, they overreach, and the hand gets completely cut off.
It's a dangerous cookie jar.
Yeah.
It's a very dangerous cookie jar. I wouldn't risk it if I was going for cookies. Getting your hand caught and losing.
I think, yeah, Nukes definitely risked it for the biscuit.
Did risk it for the biscuit. Yeah. But again, it's still only a 2,000 gold lead, but now with this third Drake spawning, you've got everyone back up. TPs are available for the side of Schalke Evolution. Only one for the Lillia on the side of LDLC. So right now, everyone's going to be clumped up. This could be the big 5v5.
Very crucial. Vétheo does not have his flash up and available. That means he's very susceptible to Nukes getting onto him together with Sertuss.
We go, ball goes wide from Bando. Do LDLC look for the play here? There's a true shot barrage on the side. Nukes goes in. The onslaught of shadows not able to be stolen. Now the fight ensues. As you can see, Sertuss on the back side. The Bando will fall, and everyone's just asleep. They can't help out the Akali, who flashes away. Challenging smite, not enough. And there is the move from Lurox. He finds himself on top of everybody, trying to just push them down. Innaxe is untouched and has so much to give in this fight. It's a massive win for Schalke Evolution.
Sertuss start to finish, baby. He gets all the way into the backline, keeps 4 people busy for the entirety of that fight, and due to that, Schalke will be gifted a Baron courtesy of their mid lane.
They equal out the dragons, they equal out the gold, they get themselves a Baron, or do they? They have
TP.
got Nukes here, TP coming in off the backside, as you can see Bando is there, but Senna deleted and taken off the rift. Welcome to the grey screen, and YellOwStaR is gone as well. There's just no damage, there's no CC, there's nothing. LDLC might have thrown it.
There's no damage, there's no LFL here. These are not the former champions that we witnessed. Schalke are making them look like amateurs. This is the fight where Sett completely shined. Look at him. They take all the engage, Sett flies all the way to the backline. Everyone pulls back. They're trying to stop him. They try to keep Vétheo alive. And he stays up through this whole thing, keeping 4 people busy. And then when Schalke are done taking this silly dragon, they're like, yeah, cool, we'll just kill them.
I don't think the Senna was able to do absolutely anything.
She can't.
There.
It's not a front to back.
Exactly, and it was very, very difficult. She had to flash away, use her ult defensively, try and just like kite out as much as possible.
And the Akali wasn't even on the Senna. She was all on the Zoe. while killing everyone else.
Oh, so much damage as well from Innaxe. Again, completely untouched in that last fight. Means that he's completely full health, almost full mana as well, just picking up kills. So he's just able to get so much, and they save Nukes with the stand united as well. Perfect execution from Schalke. And the Dark region gotta be feeling good right now. Your number 2 seed is coming in and feeling like a number 2 seed.
All I see here from the side of Schalke is 0 deaths. 0 in the jungle, 0 in the mid lane, 0 on their ADC. The 3 carries have not died yet. They've been close, but they play on the limits. Schalke is making a statement right here that the DACH region doesn't just have one team representing each season.
They gotta close it out. It is still only a...
I'm a believer.
They have swapped it to being a 4,000 or 2,000 gold deficit to a 2,000 gold lead, so 4,000 swing in their favor. Will be able to pretty much do everything up on this top side. Good minion wave, going to be able to stop much damage there coming in from Vétheo. Still haven't cracked in this mid lane turret. Very, very important turret here to try and crack.
There's a lot of very key items that have been completed. There's a lot more armor for the Shen. There's the gauntlet as well as the gargoyle for the Leona. This Hecarim, even though ahead the entirety of the game, now he's stuck on that Trinity Force. He can't do damage to that Ezreal. He can't kill the Ezreal. You can't kill the Akali. If you can't kill anyone, what are you gonna do?
Yeah, and I feel like this Lillia top has just not had the impact that LDLC has wanted as well. Like 0-5.
It's not an impact.
Oh,
not the opponent.
That's an impact, all right. Forcing the flash and the ignite out of Vétheo. And again, this is just Schalke. They're looking strong, they're looking methodic, they're looking very, very good. They just need to close it out, just play it nice, slow, and steady, and try and push for it. You can see in the bot side, I just don't know if they can get anything here. They've been pushing in all 3 lanes. I don't think they can stop any of them.
They can't stop any of them. They can't stop them on the 5v5. They can't stop them alone. Bando, oh no.
Yeah, there's the Hex flash over. Gets himself the now kiss. Bando goes down. Onslaught of Shadows is still available for TynX if he wants to try and get out. Redemption comes down to keep him alive. But while that's happening, they're losing an inhibitor turret in the top side. Vétheo cannot deal with this Akali.
It's impossible. The item discrepancy right now, you cannot deal with. Akali is an assassin. Once she gets on you, there's nothing you can do. She also has a lot of mobility. You cannot cut her. And they have 3 lanes pushing at once. LDLC are split. They don't know which one they want to defend. And 4v5, it's even harder.
They're being pulled apart at the seams, just left, right, center. They don't know where to defend. They don't know who to focus. And the perfect thing about it from Schalke Evolution is they're just bobbing and weaving, pushing in, pushing out. You know, it's not even a question of whether or not they'll get caught because they're not even allowing themselves to get caught.
And the problem right here is you're thinking of Senna, she infinitely scales. Great. You're thinking of Hecarim, he infinitely scales. How in the world is this Hecarim gonna scale if he has no camps to himself?
Or if the game doesn't go for infinite. He needs that to infinitely scale. And this game's probably going to be over in the next 5 minutes. The TP comes in the mid lane.
I'll keep you accountable for that. I'll give you 5 minutes.
5 minutes. 32 minutes. That's what I'm thinking. Less than 32 minutes.
Okay.
As we see the TP's coming in. This is the dragon. It's not even soul yet. This will just put you onto soul point. It's LDLC trying to push in on top of Schalke Evolution. They have got the Infernal Rift, so it is a little bit easier. Vétheo jumps in, gets chunked out, and they are backing away. They want nothing to do with this. Without Vétheo having any kind of presence in these fights, they can't contest.
You gotta poke someone out. We talked about this. You poke, Hecarim runs in, finishes them off, you win the fight by chasing. If the Zoe, who is the gun that's gonna poke you down, is out of the fight, there is actually no question for LDLC to move further in. And this is the problem right now. Schalke are going to slowly but surely choke the vision off of LDLC. They've taken all the outer towers. They're going to move the vision into TynX's jungle. They're going to deprive him of farm so he can never get the items that he needs. And then they're going to challenge LDLC to come over to Baron.
Well, Baron will be spawning in just under a minute, and it's not quite over yet for LDLC. They do still have a chance. Their base has not been completely broken. There are no super minions rolling in just yet. And Schalke Evolution have, have a relatively short-range comp.
The thing here is that if LDLC will turn this around, it will be around the Baron. because having the Zoe and the Senna who can poke through in the pit is going to be really important for them. Schalke know that. They're starting to set up the vision around the Baron. This is where they want to bring LDLC, but you don't take the 50-50. Schalke here are going to look to bait LDLC into a face check and then turn this around on them because they've been winning all the fights.
This is do or die right now. You've got yourself the Yomu's Ghostblade onto the Senna. You have the Void Staff onto the Zoe, and as I say that, there's the Fade Baker. They're going to try and put the Stand United down as well. The Onslaught of Shadows comes out. They're going to try and get them, but they're too tanky, and they just can't get the damage down. Sertuss just going to go in, goes Drowsy, goes Golden. Everyone goes asleep, and they're going to be able to pick up the Hecarim as well. Schalke only lose one, and they are pushing LDLC back. They should be able to end the game right here, right now.
They can't die. The carries of Schalke cannot die. 0 deaths for Lurox, Sertuss, and Innaxe. They are inserted in the conversation of the DACH region. It's not just Mouse, it's not just one, it is two. And Schalke coming in as the second seed, defeating the former champions and making a big case for themselves.
Schalke bring themselves to 1-1, and LDLC, like you said, the former champions, the spring champions of EU Masters, are potentially looking down the barrel of a 0-2 start. That is not what you want to be seeing. They won't lose just here, just yet. As I say that, they're going to go in, but they're going to back away anyway. But 2 inhibitors down. Baron is still very much on the table. I think LDLC got to throw it. They got to throw the Hail Mary. You got to go for something.
This is scary. This is scary for Schalke. And you see this fight here, they actually had a chance to win because they catch Lurox. They throw everything and their mums on him, and he still doesn't die. And once the Akali is in the fight, well, you know that this is pretty much over. Then you have TynX also getting caught. And this is actually the page where Schalke should say, we're going Baron. We're going Baron, we're finishing it. This is the textbook kind of style that we talked about that will work versus teams when the game is completely even. Here that you're ahead, you can afford to do that. You can afford to go in to take the inhibitors. And now they're looking for this Baron.
Schalke Evolution showing the power of a Shen first pick. All the AD carries that were banned, all the different, kind of like priorities they could have put it onto it, and they picked the Shen, and it's paid dividends so far. So many times where people off the side of Schalke Evolution have been caught and saved by sleeping has been just priceless. You can't put a price on how valuable it's been for this team.
Absolutely, and he's always been on the side lane, he's always pushing. My eyes are still on the 3 carries. Lurox wants to get this over with.
They want to try and go for it. This could possibly be the final fight. The sleep goes in down on top of the Nukes, but speaking of Nukes, there's just no health bars left as Schalke Evolution run rampant over LDLC, and they will get themselves a triple kill onto the Akali. Schalke Evolution going 1-1 into this group and looking like a contender.
Welcome, DACH region. They have finally arrived, Penguin. 2 teams representing at least for them here, doing so well. Schalke, they didn't come into play. They knew their win conditions. They played this to the T, and they took down the former champions. Maybe it's not Morningstar and Schalke. Maybe it's LDLC.
Yeah, we can talk about that later, of course, but yeah, overall, just a fantastic game from Schalke. Got behind early, definitely crawled it back, and yeah, I think we have a lot to talk about, and definitely a lot of questions about LDLC, but for now, we're going to throw it to a quick break, and when we return, we'll have a breakdown of that game. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, after what was just a pretty convincing win. I say convincing a lot. I need to pick a different word. It was a dominating victory. It was, but it's, you know, not good to repeat. Dominating victory from Schalke Evolution. LDLC looking a bit lost with their composition. Didn't really find the opportunities they wanted.
I just don't understand the composition that LDLC went with, because when you pick a Senna, when you pick a Zoe, you obviously want to play the front to back, you want to play the poke, you want to create the distance, but then the Hecarim wants to go in, the Lillia wants to go in, and it just didn't all come together for them, because once they started getting engaged upon, they just could not kite. Everyone was too squishy, everyone was falling. By the time TynX was in, it just didn't matter, and I'm just gonna give it 100% to Schalke here, because they picked this, they chilled back, they knew they were losing to the Hecarim, and they just waited. They waited until they got the item power spikes, they got the win conditions, they knew exactly where they were lying, they grabbed them, and they just never let go. That was the mid-game spike of the Gunblade Akali. Once Sertuss got that, Lurox was like holding his hand together, and they were just rallying in.
And I loved how in almost all of these fights, Innaxe is completely untouched. His positioning was so crystal clear to where he needed to be, so crisp and clean. And you can see even now he's jumping aggressively because he knows he has the advantage, he knows he has the damage, and he is the reason why they were able to just kind of, you know, elongate these fights so damn hard. And the final fight coming in here, it was all but said and done here. And there's not a lot you can do.
Honestly,
yeah.
If we would highlight every single player from Schalke,
yeah.
Nukes jumping in every single time, saving his carries. You might not be able to see that, but when somebody gets, you know, the Sleepy Trouble Bubble on them by the Zoe, and then Leona walks in front of you, the Thresh can't hook you, the damage cannot land. Nukes was getting the engages, Nukes was saving his carries, Sleeping coming in clutch all the time, getting the taunts, saving everyone. It was just an overall great performance, a team performance coming in.
Now the question is what's happening to LDLC? This is very, very dangerous territory. You're now 0-2 coming into the final day tomorrow. You need to start turning out wins, because it turns out that our next teams, the teams in that group, are bloody hard.
I mean, I'm extremely scared with what's happening from LDLC, because it's not necessarily that they're fumbling upon a specific composition that they wanted to execute, a specific strategy. It's just that it feels like they don't have a strategy. They're just drafting things that they know are strong. They're drafting comfort, if you will. Maybe they're trying to ease themselves into European Masters and draft comfort, but it just does not reflect in the standings right here. 0-2, and it's just not going to get easier, because now they're going to play the Kick tomorrow. Yeah. They're playing the actual final that we had in Spring Split 2020.
And a rematch.
And you know what? Kick is going to be looking for that revenge.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see how they do, and we're going to talk about that a little bit more at length. We're going to throw it to a break, and when we return, Samsung Morningstar and Kick NeoSurf will be our final game of the day. You do not want to miss it.